have consumer CPI is the price of most recent market basket in a particular year divided by the price of the estimate of the market basket in the base year. In other words, price of a given, this is like this is price index. So the price of a market basket in a given year divided by what? Divided by the price in the base year, that is 100, will give you the CPI. Once you get the CPI, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is inflation. Inflation is equal to CPI this period minus CPI last period divided by CPI last period times 100, giving you 7.6%. That's inflation, right? Percentage change. So the mean. Here. Here. Okay. Okay, remember, price index is equal to price in a given year price in a given year divided by price in the base year times 100. This is what we chapter 7. Okay, let's continue. Price index is price in a given year divided by price in the base year times 100. When we talk about CPI, okay, first we look at the market basket. Okay, market basket. These are the goods and services that we buy, different types of goods that we buy. It's a basket, that's it. Market basket. Okay, so we say CPI is equal to like average price of this basket. CPI is equal to price of the basket. Right. Okay. In a given year, divided by what? Price of the basket, the same basket, in base year, times 100. For the base year, we use 1982-84 average. Right, 1982-84 average we use as a base. So here we just need to understand the concept. What do you mean by price index? Is just the price in a given year divided by the price base year times 100. Refer to your chapter 7, right? And CPI is just a special type of a price index. It's a special type because the index that is calculated based on what? Based on the market basket that we buy. Food, clothing, energy, car, everything, right? Basket. There is like 80,000 items included in here. The average price in a given year divided by what? The price of the same basket where? In the base year times 100. So the concept is the same, right? So now we use all the basket. Okay. So this is how CPI is calculated. All right. Once we get the CPI, then CPI is used to calculate inflation, right? Okay. And we say what? Inflation is equal to CPI. Okay, let's say this period minus what? CPI last period divided by what? Divided by CPI last period times what?
100.
Times 100. For example, it could be, let's just say 2024 minus 2023 divided by what? Divided by 2023 times 100. Right? CPI in 2024 minus CPI 2023 last period divided by what? CPI last period times 100. This is the way you just calculate it, this period minus last period. Okay, we have that, right? General rise in the price level, that's inflation, when the price of most goods and services go up. Inflation reduces the purchasing power. We all know that, right? A given dollar today buys what? Less goods and services because of inflation, right? The purchasing power decreases. And then consumer price index is an index constructed based on what? A market basket of goods and services, right? And then how do we calculate it? It's the price of most recent market basket. The price of the market basket in this year, most recent, divided by what? The price of the basket in the base year times 100, right? What do they use for the base year? The base year they use is 1982-84. This is actual anyway, this we're talking about. 1982-84 average is used as the base year, and we calculate the inflation. Now, this is inflation, not CPI. This inflation is consumer price index this period minus last period divided by last period times 100, which should give 7.06. Right? You calculated, you have seen the example. Do you have any question on this? Is that okay? All right. Now, okay, this is the inflation in the US, right? The rate of inflation. Highest during mid-70s and 1980 was the highest. And then what happened? And then it declined for a long period of time. And then after COVID, what happened to the inflation rate? Like today, what happened? The inflation rate. You can see here, it dropped all the way, and then what happened to the inflation? It went up, right? It went up. Why did it went up? It went up, you see the government was sending many left and right people, right? During the COVID time, right? Stimulus money, everybody was getting stimulus money. That stimulus money was not immediately used, but when the COVID was mitigated, then what happened? People went out, started what? Spending it, right, on goods and services. So what happened to the inflation? Inflation went up, right? Close to 8%, and then the Federal Reserve is now trying to bring the inflation what? Down, right? But something is happening, which is complicating the issue, right? The Fed would be trying to reduce inflation, and they were successful. They brought it down from 8% to 2.9. But what did the current administration do? The current administration started what? Imposing tariffs on goods and services, right? When they impose tariffs, tariffs are taxes on import. So imported goods, what will happen to their price?
Gonna go up.
Goes up, right? And then that sort of complicates, makes it difficult for the Federal Reserve to bring the inflation down. That's why we see all the way, we see inflation is still persistent. It's not coming down as fast as they want it to be. Just remember, after 2020, the inflation went up because of the stimulus package and people starting spending left and right and so on. Then there are two types of inflation. These are the types of inflation. Two types of inflation. The first one is called demand pull inflation, right? Demand pull inflation, which means this is inflation because of excessive demand. When just people, right, spend goods and services, the demand for goods and services is increasing. That is what we call a demand pull inflation. The stimulus package, for example, causes a demand pull inflation because what? People are demanding, right, more goods and services. They are buying more goods and services. A demand pull. If people become, let's say, optimistic about the economy, and then they start what? Spending left and right. What does that mean? That means in that case there will be what? An increase in the price of goods and services. If the Federal Reserve increases the money supply, if they put too much money in the economy, what happens? Too much money chasing too few goods. And so what happens to the price? The price goes up. That is what we call a demand pull inflation, right? It's because of excessive demand in the economy. Just remember when you say demand, it's because of the demand for goods and services. And then we have the second type of inflation, which is called a cost push inflation. Cost push. This is when the price of resources increase. Resources used in the production of goods and services. Cost push. Cost of production is increasing. The average price of production is increasing, not because of the demand side now, it is because of the supply side. Right? It is costing businesses, for example, to hire workers. The wage rate, that's an increase in the cost of production, right? What do businesses do? Raise the price of what they produce. If energy price increase, right? Okay, businesses use energy to produce goods and services. What do? Raise the price of what they do. This is what we call cost of production. An increase in the cost of production causes what? Cost push inflation. We have a demand pull and cost push inflation, right? Just remember the word cost. Right? The cause of the cost of production increasing. Anything that increases the cost of production will cause what? Will cause cost push inflation in the economy. Look at this one. The supply shock is like oil shock, as I just mentioned, and here disruption on the supply chain. Right? When there was a disruption in the supply chain, resources are not coming from, say, different parts of the world. Inputs are not coming in, right? Factories were closed. So business do not have enough resources to produce goods and services. So what will happen to the price of goods? It's go up. Right? That is what we call the cost of production and the cost of inflation. This is just for us to understand, right? We have core inflation excludes food and energy. When they calculate the CPI, they have the market basket, remember? The market basket includes also food and energy, but food and energy fluctuates a lot. Right? They are not stable. So what the Fed does is they take this core up, they took energy and food out, and then calculate the inflation rate. Whatever inflation they get is called what? Core inflation. So core inflation excludes what? Core inflation excludes food and energy. Why do they exclude them? Because food and energy fluctuate a lot. They focus more on stable prices, you can see here. Right? Okay, any question? Okay, maybe what I will do here, very little left, instead of rushing on this, what I will do is, what I will do is this. Okay, I will finish this chapter. Few slides left. I'll finish this chapter. I put a review question for you for chapter 8 and 9 in Blackboard. You answer those questions, you finish this, and then we'll go over that. Okay? And if you have any question, you'll ask me. After that, it means we will do that. Okay? Alright, we'll see you then. Please read this chapter and do the review questions after that. When you prepare for the exam, look at the quiz, the review questions and the quizzes that we had, right? If they are not open, let me know. You should be able to get the correct answer for quizzes. Right? If you make mistakes, you should be able to see the key. What did I make a mistake? Okay, if you put your